I hope you brought your jogging shoes, cause I'm Nate, welcome to Beyond the Screen, and today we're breaking down the top 10 celebrities who ran from the law. Number 10, Seth Rogen and James Franco. Our first spot on this list is a double down, as the situation surrounding their run from the law was a shared experience. In 2014, Seth Rogen and James Franco starred in a little film called The Interview, in which they play a talk show producer and host respectively, and are granted the opportunity to interview the supreme leader of North Korea. Spoiler alert, at the end of that movie, the supreme leader is blown up in a helicopter and the heroes liberate the country. Needless to say, that did not sit well for Kim. When news of the film and its content began circulating a few months before its scheduled worldwide theater release, the Korean government hacked Sony's servers to watch the film and gained the private information of its employees. This led to Seth and James personally being threatened by Korean law enforcement that they were being viewed as enemies to the country and were therefore a threat. This caused Rogen and Franco to go into hiding, having Sony Studios hire 24/7 security at their private homes. The government continued to threaten the two until they had edited the movie to the supreme leader's approval. After a couple of months of hiding, Rogen joked about in his book Yearbook that one morning those guards that were in front of his house were just gone. Yeah, no goodbye, no good luck, nothing. It was decided that the film would make more money and be more accessible if it premiered online, making it one of the first full-length feature films to premiere on the Google Play Store. I got it on iTunes. Okay, I downloaded it illegally. Number 9, Bam Margera. Wham bam, thank you ma'am. Bam Margera is best known for bringing his body to the brink of destruction on numerous occasions. I run down the titles of things that he's been in, but most of them are just a little bit too raunchy for YouTube, so I don't know, Google his name and just figure it out for yourself. Unfortunately, Bam has also been one of the many Hollywood bad boys that have fallen into serious addiction and substance control problems. Since the mid-2000s, Bam has been in and out of prisons and rehabs, always being able to clean up his act momentarily, but unfortunately falling right back into his old habits. This is too bad considering just last year on fellow stuntman Steve O's podcast, Bam reported that he was doing very well and he had actually just finished a full year in rehabilitation. It seems that he has returned to his rambunctious ways though, as a few weeks ago it was reported that there was a warrant out for Bam's arrest following an altercation with his brother, which included Bam spouting very threatening threats to his entire family. A manhunt was issued for the stuntman, as his many run-ins listed him as dangerous and aggressive. After 3 days, the hunt was called off because Bam came to his senses and decided to turn himself in. So far, there is no news on the outcome of what actually happened to Bam, but we're pretty certain it's not great. It's probably not good. Number 8, Ezra Miller. Ezra Miller has been in the acting scene since 2008, first appearing in films such as After School and Perks of Being a Wallflower. They seemed like a normal functioning member of society until 2019, when cast and crew started noticing odd behavior from the actor. They'd often appear wearing capes or robes on set that were never actually a part of the wardrobe, as well as having scattered thoughts and motivation both on and off screen. In 2020, a video surfaced of Miller in a violent altercation outside of a bar in Iceland, which would be the first of many videos showcasing the actor's misdeeds, eventually leading to Miller breaking and entering into someone's house in Hawaii of all places. I guess they were a little bit chilly and they couldn't find a blanket or something, I don't know. Miller then went on to run from Hawaiian authorities for a little over a week, supposedly squatting in abandoned buildings and sleeping on the beach. They were eventually caught and charged with breaking and entering, as well as aggravated swatting, as Miller had apparently gotten into a fist fight just before breaking into the house. Yeah, 2 birds, 1 stone. Number 7, Shakira. While her hips may not lie, apparently she does. Famous pop singer Shakira made headlines in 2018 when Spanish prosecutors announced that Shakira failed to pay $14.5 million in European taxes between 2012 and 2014. Shakira has claimed that her primary residence at the time was in the Bahamas, but the authorities say that she was living in Barcelona during this period in a house that she had purchased in May of 2012. Shakira was adamant that this never took place, and the Spanish government were simply trying to ruin her name. She dodged the Spanish government for years until she was forced to pay the full tax debt plus $3 million in interest. But the law didn't stop there, as they apparently continued to berate her to this day, claiming that there's still money owed on her account. Shakira finally had enough and decided to stop avoiding the law and face them head on, beginning a lawsuit which she is said to be very confident to win. Number 6, Mark Whalberg. That's right, Mackie Mac from the Funky Bunch once ran from the law for something that happened in his youth in 1999. 1999. From a young age, Mark actually suffered from substance control issues, which many linked to his parents' divorce when he had just become a teenager. He took a lot of his anger out on those around him while under the influence, with one instance leaving him on the run and in hiding from authorities for over a month. One night on his way home, Whalberg ran into and began an altercation with two Vietnamese men using a large stick as a weapon. This escalated to the point where one man was left blind in one eye and Mark was charged with attempted extermination. This charge was very serious, and knowing what could come of it caused Whalberg to pack his bags and bolt, staying with friends for a month until he was eventually found and arrested. He pleaded guilty to aggravated thwacking and was sentenced to 2 years, of which he only served 45 days. He's since become a Hollywood giant, starring in blockbusters like the Transformers franchise, and he's steered clear of the law ever since. Number 5. Michelle Rodriguez. While many fans know Rodriguez as the action star from the Fast and Furious franchise and most recently the new Dungeons and Dragons movie, she's best known by law enforcement for her many drinking and driving related incidents. These included a number of charges from driving under the influence to attempted swatting while under the influence. These sentences carried out a small jail sentence of only a few days each, but in one instance Rodriguez only served 4 hours of a 4-day prison sentence due to overcrowding, and she even served 2 days of a 60-day sentence for the same reason. While she may have been let out early, the charges did come with a significant amount of community service. Of course, as many of us know, when you are convicted of a crime, no matter how small, there tends to be a probationary period attached to it, meaning there's a certain amount of time when you are prohibited from violating specific rules and especially committing crimes. Unfortunately for Rodriguez, a hit-and-run incident in Los Angeles placed her in violation of said parole and a warrant was issued for her arrest. The actress was nowhere to be seen following the incident, as multiple attempts to contact her by police went nowhere. It turns out she had been hiding from them because she knew this time there would be no overcrowding loopholes. She was eventually arrested and was made to serve a 6-month jail stint for violation of her probation. Hey, that rhymed. Number 4. Mel Gibson. In 2006, the Braveheart star was pulled over by Los Angeles police who suspected Gibson was not in his right mind to be behind the wheel of a car. While Mel has had many run-ins with the law over the years for numerous reasons, it was his issues with the happy juice that got him on this list. As the officers pulled Mel over, they calmly went through the procedure of administering a roadside sobriety test, which Mel of course failed. When he was politely asked by the officer to enter the squad car, not even putting handcuffs on this guy, he responded by literally running from the law, like he sprinted away. According to the police reports, he made a mad dash towards his vehicle, but before the officer could start a foot pursuit, the go-go juice had already hit Mel's legs and he fell face first into the pavement. Way to make an impact, Mel. Get it? Because his face impacted the road and he's been in a movie. Moving on! Number 3. Ja Rule. Ja Rule is a famous rapper, producer, and actor with multiple platinum records under his belt. He's also well known among the rich and powerful as a silly man who invests in silly things. In 2018, Ja Rule began promoting a music festival called Fire. The festival was said to be a private concert on a luxurious beach in the Bahamas. People were paying him and the co-founder of the event, Billy McFarland, millions of dollars to rent private yachts and mega mansions that just, didn't exist. After the festival went forward as scheduled, many people were shocked to find that their homes were actually leftover hurricane shelters from the island, and that their 5-star meals would be of a worser quality than many middle school cafeterias. Not to mention, almost every single event, perk, or promise from that festival was cancelled or fake, and eventually the entire festival itself was cancelled. Thousands of disgruntled concert goers formed a civil suit against Ja Rule and Billy McFarland and had enough evidence and cause to win the battle with no effort. This may be why Ja Rule bailed. He fled the island the moment things started to go wrong on site, and he was elusive in the public eye for several weeks. Eventually, Rule was contacted by law enforcement and made aware of the charges that were being brought against him. Luckily for Ja Rule, he was only a part of the civil suit, while his partner Billy McFarland was sentenced to 6 years in jail after the FBI found evidence of multiple counts of wire fraud. Number 2. O.J. Simpson. Today we will be discussing O.J. Simpson, and no, it's not for what you might think. While O.J. had a major run-in with the law in the 1990s, he was later acquitted of those charges being brought against him. However, one night in 2007, O.J. gathered up a crew of goons and made his way to the Palace Station Hotel in Las Vegas, Nevada. A sports memorabilia dealer named Bruce Fremong testified that the men entered his hotel room and stole memorabilia while threatening his life. The altercation lasted for 6 minutes, but the event was described to have been fast and loud, as the crew were strictly there to keep Bruce quiet while the others took the goods. For 3 days following the event, police were on the search for OJ, as not only was the memorabilia that they stole specifically his, but nobody was wearing a mask or anything at that time, so Bruce was very quick to point the finger. OJ was eventually located and charged with robbery and aggravated pushiness, and was sentenced to 33 years in prison. And at number 1, Jake Lloyd. Jake was the little boy that became a Sith Lord, playing young Anakin Skywalker in Star Wars Episode 1. While his character eventually becomes Darth Vader, Lloyd's personal life would turn out to be just as rough. Following the release of the film, Jake was actually picked on relentlessly by both his peers and Star Wars fans. He grew up with people hating him in public settings and cursing his name whenever Episode 1 was ever mentioned. Seriously, people were hating on this guy like he was Greta Thunberg or something. This was surely an attributing factor to his growth as a person, as over the years he had become more and more violent in the public eye, and was well known for being short-tempered. In 2015, police chased the 26-year-old Lloyd for 25 miles before he finally crashed off a roadside on Interstate 95 in South Carolina. He was not intoxicated at the time, but after being arrested and sent for a psychiatric evaluation, it was concluded that the young actor had been suffering from schizophrenia and he was held for treatment. And those are the top 10 actors who ran from the law. Did we miss anybody that you like? And who is next to run from the law? Let us know in the comments below. As always, thanks for stopping beyond the screen today. If you enjoy our comment, leave a like on this video, and we'll see you next time.